Hey everyone, we're now on the south side of Chicago. Check out the Museum of Science and Industry, which is housed in this amazing, beautiful, old building. I believe it was built for like the 1893 Columbian Exposition or something like that. But inside is one of my favorite museums in the world, and definitely my favorite science museum in the world. We're gonna go show you around. So we're here in kind of the futuristic big lobby section of the museum. This is where you come to enter, and there's a million different ticketing options for this because they do have 5 different pay extra exhibits. The Big Bright Brick is their current special exhibit, which is a Lego exhibit. There's the onboard tour of the submarine, the coal mine tour, and then a couple other different things. So depending on what you want to do here in the museum, it's going to cost you some different things. Also in the lobby area is the Golden Zephyr train. So I love the Golden Zephyr exhibit here because of things like this. You walk into the actual train, and then you might see a button here, like this guy, push to start. And then what happens?
Wow! Oh,
you get this guy that projects on a screen and tells you all about the train and how it works and things like that. Very much a thematic kind of experience. Also, from a hee guy humor experience, here's the toilet. But you think, like, how do you get to the toilet? The sink is in your way. The sink, it lifts up and folds into the wall. That's cool. Obviously not a toilet you should use because it's in the exhibit. Time to check out one of the museum's marquee exhibits, and it's the U505. Comes with a pretty cool entrance here. And here it is, the U505, the German World War I, I think, U-boat, in its own giant hangar here in the museum. Now, for an upcharge, I believe it's about $12. You can go and take a walkthrough tour of this thing. Not something we're going to do today because we're strapped for time, but if you're into submarines and, you know, war artifacts, definitely something I would like to do it, or just don't have the time today. And it's really cool. I mean, this is a giant pavilion for this exhibit here. Neat. And again, something you would not see at any other museum. This is the only museum I know of that has, you know, anything close to this. The only thing I could even think of that's similar is like the space shuttle exhibit at the Kennedy Science Center for having something so large inside like this. Anyway, really cool. So they have a giant torpedo right here. And I have no idea, because you see, like, if you watch the movies and stuff like that, they are not nearly this big. But this thing is a good 20 feet long. Crazy. One of the museum's marquee exhibit, and one of its best, is the coal mine. And the coal mine is another one of these pay extra exhibits. You start here, you drop down the elevator shafts. There's a train part of it, so you get a train ride. You get to see all these giant machines. It is an upcharge, so this is one I highly recommend because it is that good. Probably for me the highlight of the museum, but the museum's got a lot of highlights, but definitely highly recommend that upcharge. So we're here in the Numbers in Nature exhibit, which is an exhibit, and then there's a mirror maze here in the middle. This is one you need a timed ticket entry, so if you're here on the busy day, you might not be able to get right in, but it is free, and it's kind of trippy. Here is the genetics exhibit, which shows all about DNA and that kind of stuff. But the highlight of it is the chick hatchery. So they've got a whole bunch of like chicken eggs kind of things. And if you're here at the right time, you can even see them hatch. And then you can see how ugly newborn baby chicks are. But that's really cool. Like you can sort of see them moving around a little bit, waiting for one to pop out. See, like that guy there? Look at that egg. It's got a crack in it, so they're getting ready for a little chick to pop out. Like that's really cool. Not every day you get to see that. That is for sure. And then you come over here to when the baby chicks become adorable baby chicks. Yay! And they run around like crazy because everything's fun because they're babies. And they're the cutest things ever. Remarkably active. Another awesome exhibit here is the Yesterday's Main Street section, where you get to go to see like a town from, I'm assuming, the 1950s or so. You've also got an old-timey ice cream parlor over there that's not running today, but normally serves ice cream. And it's cool. Again, we talk about immersion and things like that. This does it does have that, you know, Disneyland feel if Main Street was built indoors and wasn't all gift shops and Starbucks. guess there's some sort of a movie theater type thing down here. In the Nickelodeon. Showing like old-timey silent films. Very cool. Again, neat section of the museum. Gonna walk through the Fast Forward Inventing the Future exhibit here. Really, just because they have this awesome fog screen effect right here in the beginning. You know, very similar like a Davy Jones and Pirates of the Caribbean, things like that. And these things, yeah, this one actually works, unlike ours at the Magic Kingdom. And those are really cool. And then you look on the other side and you really can't see them. You know, they call the F5 tornado the finger of God. This might be one of the cooler things in the entire museum, the Avalanche Exhibit, which is this giant spinning disc. I mean, this thing must be 20 feet by 20 feet with sand, and you can control how fast it goes to simulate an avalanche. Like when I walked by, I thought this was some sort of like projection effect. It is most certainly not. This is, you know, sand molecules, and it's mesmerizing to watch, and you can change it to make, oh man, that is so cool. Also, I'm gonna get this side view just to show you how big this thing is, and it's kind of on a there's Molly and there's the Diz. That's fantastic. This exhibit here, this Science Storms exhibit, is great. So this is really cool. This was the idea was originally from 1851, where a French physicist used this giant pendulum to show off that the Earth rotates. And obviously, as it moves around, it knocks over the different things as the day goes on. As you can see, it's knocked over all of these, and next up is that one there, and on the other side over there. And it's really cool because this thing is, you know, hanging from the ceiling. Yeah, that's neat. Check out the little tornado. I guess all these machines do stuff here. Okay, let's push this button and see what happens. Here it goes. Here comes the tornado. This is such a cool exhibit. What, did I mess it up?
No, you can adjust the walls.
Oh, and you can adjust the walls to make all sorts of different tornadoes. I wonder which wall you have to move to make it a Sharknado. Awesome. More awesome stuff here. You got a machine creating giant ring waves. You've got you know, an exhibit here about, you know, tsunami and water waves. This is such a cool exhibit. Here you have the fairy castle, which is this kind of hard to explain. It's like a very, very large, detailed model, themed towards all different fairy tales and things like that. I think it's kind of neat because as you walk around to the different parts and you look in, you could go in and see all the details, and also you can listen above and hear the narration.
It's coming from that little orchid. To the right,
and I'll tell you all about the details and their story and things like that. But
is a very large diamond, which was originally in Colleen.
all the detail in this thing is really, really spectacular. Everything from, you know, little tiny dungeon type rooms to giant throne rooms, and just like a real house, it does all connect, and it's pretty neat, lots of detail. Again, something, if you were into fairy tales and things like that, or doll houses, you can spend a lot of time in here. On the third floor here, they've got this great visual thing, all about the history of flight on this side. So you've got all these different airplanes hanging from the ceiling. Everything from a 727 United plane to all these different warplanes. It's really, really cool. And with the 727 here, you can even go inside. And if you've never been on a plane before, you'll find out what one likes. So, they don't make it the realistic United experience where somebody comes through and throws you off the plane kicking and screaming, but it is in here. Get to see what a cockpit looks like. All sorts of things that tell you about flying. Anyway, really cool. I'm sure if your kids like planes, this is something they would make you spend a lot of time in. Another thing cool up here in the plane area, you get to look inside what the jet engine looks like. kind of figuring out how things work. And they've got the Wright brothers plane. Well, not the real plane, but you know, one that looks like it. Up here on the 3rd floor, the museum is home to a couple older, very older, very early generation simulator rides. There's 2 different types. These are both upcharge attractions. This one over here, you fly yourself in some sort of a jet plane, and then you have these here, which you just ride, and they sort of show you the history of flight. Which is it's definitely very dated technology, but it's a cool ride film for a museum, as it's educational. Guys, I absolutely love this exhibit. This is a tour through Switzerland Jolly Ball, which is a giant Rube Goldberg kind of machine where you follow this steel ball here as it goes on all sorts of crazy adventures throughout this giant course. It's mesmerizing. Like, you could sit here and watch this thing for forever, and it's in such a long course that it takes quite a bit of time to go through its whole thing. And you watch that one just turn on a machine that sends little baby ones. And it's, as a guy that likes roller coasters and machines and stuff like that, now the ball is currently in the train there, continuing its adventure. It's so cool. I could sit here and watch this all day. I'm not going to, because then Molly would be terribly upset about the $30 we spent at the museum. But I could, because it's that neat. All right, let's see. So it's out of there, and boom, there it goes. So cool. Anyway, awesome. Don't miss this. It's on the it's over here by the Museum Cafe, and right when you came in, you go up those stairs there, and this is behind that. Awesome. Something I'm going to miss out on my visit today, because it doesn't open until May 11th, is Robot Revolution, a new exhibit here at the museum sponsored by Google and featuring like some of the latest and greatest robots. I'm a huge fan of like robots and technology, so I'm sure this is something I'm going to love. I guess I'll have to come back. One section of the museum we have not been to today, and that's because it's the children's area designed for kids 10 and under, and that is the Idea Factory, which is down here with all sorts of interactive games designed for the younger set, and it's kind of sad because it looks like I could probably have quite a bit of fun down there. So I'm a child, and machines are neat. I guess these balls dump into this pit, and then at some point that pit, dumps out. Cool. I'm gonna try this out. This is the Whispering Gallery, which is whisper and be heard. Stand on the footprints and whisper to a friend and see if they can hear you. And just the way this is designed. There's the footprints. Hi, Molly.
How are you?
I'm doing well.
This is kind of cool.
It's also kind of terrifying. It kind of sounds like the voices in my head kind of thing. No, those aren't the voices. Pretty sure those are not it. So next up is You, the Experience, and this is weird. So you walk by and these people laugh at you, and apparently the more you move, the more they laugh. It's very bizarre. Very bizarre. Weird. They've got a human hamster wheel. So this exhibit is really neat. You get to check your pulse and then play, see what your heart looks like on the giant screen. Molly, I'm going to let you go and try this out. So it's going to take her pulse, which is reading now, reading now, reading now. Up. Apparently you're dead. You're flatlining. That's not good. Oh, there we go. Alright, apparently she's very excited. And then, so that's what her heart looks like on a billion times scale. And then from this computer over here, you could go and see like different types of hearts, whether it be electrical system or internal. It's really, really cool. Up, you're back to dead. Anyway, this is an awesome exhibit. The museum is home to a bunch of rotating exhibits, so they'll be here for like, 3, 4, 5, 6 months, and then they'll move on. Right now it's Brick by Brick, which is a certified Lego professional kind of exhibit. But these are pay extra things, so we're not going to do them. But if you have somebody that loves Legos and wants to see a whole bunch of models of Legos, go check that out. You You've got another exhibit here that's fantastic, and that's the history of Chicago and the railroad, which you then end up with one of the biggest model railroads I've ever seen. This thing just goes on forever and ever. From, you got the landscape of the city over here to giant mountains over there. If you had a model railroad, you are absolutely in heaven. And then over here, you've got a full-size kind of steam train thing, which you could go in and check out. So here in the Space Center, they have all sorts of different things from the most recent, the Mars rover. Sort of takes you through the history of some of the different spacecrafts and things like that. You've got the space shuttle here, showing off what that is like. Over from like some of the Apollo kind of stuff, like the capsules that would come back in and would splash land into the water, or the one that would land on the moon itself. So kind of cool if you're into space over here. Also, this is where the OmniMax Theater is. But if you've never seen one of these big, awesome dome movies, they do have them here. Again, another thing at the museum that is, I believe, an extra charge. And right now they're showing something about great white sharks and dream big, engineering our world. My background's in engineering, so I kind of be interested in that. It's back here about the space stuff. All right, this is fun. You get to fuel up. And then when it's time, you get to launch. Oh, that was kind of weak. So I think Molly is better at being an astronaut than I am. Yep, much better. I mean, you can't have a museum without a space cow, right? So in the space area, there's a little cafeteria thing with a bunch of vending machines. But very disappointing, there's no space food. I mean, you gotta have space food, right? You don't. It's just food. Now, you said everybody hates space food. That's why it's probably not here.
Yep.
No, I think you've got to have it. If they had some space food, I might buy some space food. Not going to buy some bugles. You've got a farm tech exhibit here, which shows you all kinds of interesting stuff about farming, including poop. Yes, poop. You learn all about how the cows eat, and then plop, it comes out. And you also have poop to power. So we're here, I'm going to do a milking pit crew. Here we go. What do we got to do? We got to start the timer, spray each teat. You get to use the word teat. Put 4 teat cups on. I get to use the word teat cups. And then stop the timer. All right, let's go. Spray the these things on the teats. I'm fumbling. 11 seconds. Which, if you look right here, this guy's a master milker. So they have a giant, I guess it's a combine simulator with a full-size John Deere combine. Here we see Molly living her dreams of becoming a farmer with heavy machinery.
Looks like the hopper's about full.
Not the hopper's full.
How about I dump some of this and then let's break for dinner?
Yeah, dinner.
Sounds good. Mom just called.
Here in the Earth Revealed exhibit, it's kind of cool. They do this sort of a 360 projection show on a large globe kind of thing, showing off all different stuff. Here's the Extreme Ice exhibit, which has a couple different things in it. It's all about climate change and stuff like that. So it's got these great pictures of, what the glaciers were like in 2009 and what the glaciers are like now. And then the most fun part is just like at SeaWorld Orlando, they have a big giant ice wall you can stick your hand in and freeze and make holes and stuff like that. So it's kind of sort of like the important, meaningful stuff and the fun stuff. It's time for me to picture myself in business. That did not go as planned. That's terrifying. Nope, that's not good either. I'm not going to picture myself in business. They've got an exhibit in the corner here called The Art of the Bicycle, showing off all different types of bicycle seats and bikes. You know what I wish this exhibit had was like a hands-on area where you could try one of these ridiculous giant seat, giant wheel, tiny wheel bikes. That would be a lot of fun.
Very dangerous.
Yeah, but I figured they could find a way to make it safe. Because I mean, who wouldn't want to try that out?
Make it on a track.
Yeah. So this is awesome. You get to pick your launch speed and your angle. So I'm gonna go, let's say I go really high and really slow, and then I hit launch, and it's going to launch the ball into the net over there, all the way across this ravine here. That's so cool.
Two directions at the same time.
I love it.
Vertically and horizontally.
They've got a maglev exhibit where you can control your old little kind of maglev monorail car like thing. Go! So I'm not really sure what this exhibit does, but you get to play with fire, so that's cool. Adjust fuel to get started. Adjust mist. More mist. Okay, I'm not really sure this is working. Adjust lasers?
A thing called return stroke happens. Return stroke is the big bright flash that we see.
Adjust fuel. Okay, we got a bigger flame. Molly's better at this. Adjust lasers. Let's turn lasers on. Oh, we not want lasers on. I'm guessing the mist effect is not working, but the exhibit still has fire, so that's a plus. I'm pretty sure you're not allowed to be a science museum if you don't have one of these things. But don't worry, they have one of these things. And here we got racing cars, which is, well, it's exactly what you think it's going to be. It's a racing cars. Showing you from various like Indy cars through, you know, all sorts of cars, from old-timey cars. So if you have a kid that likes cars, it might be a good exhibit for you. Now in the circus exhibit, which at first I thought was kind of dumb, but they have all these really, really cool, like old-timey detailed miniatures. And a couple different ones. And you can tell they must be really old. I'm sure there's a plaque that tells you the history of these things, but very, very old. Yep, very old. 1920. So the mini circus is almost 100 years old. And there's the snake car. So this one's cool too because it talks about the different rings and it lights up and then they do stuff. So right now the elephants are spinning around and they're talking about the elephants, but then they might go and talk about the horses and the horses would spin around. Well, there's got to be something good in here, right? Right, let's see. Nope, that's just me. That's a strong man choking some snakes in my camera. Hi. Crotch shot. This one is also humorous. You're a small person who's holding guns with a large Marge there. Fun. They've also got one for the sideshow, which shows like the people going in and the various kind of sideshow characters. Oh, cool.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls.
I was going to say, there had to be a barker, right? There's a couple of them out front.
Here to the big circus sideshow.
Here is the ships gallery, which is a whole bunch of like models, ships, and nautical stuff. So you're into nautical stuff and ships, you'd probably dig this. We are into cruise ships, which, well, they don't seem to have any of those, so it's probably not for Legend of Molly. They got the Christopher Columbus ships, though. I'm not sure what this exhibit is, but there's a bunch of old-timey stagecoaches like out of the Oregon Trail. Just when you think you've seen it all, here's a bear wearing a dress. A whole bunch of penguins dressed up in funny costumes. Also, this section of the zoo, the museum is I Spy. You come over here, you read a little, and you try and figure out like the answer to a scavenger hunt story kind of thing. I also love that they have old school moldoramas all over the museum, so you can get, you know, run the locomotive areas. You can get a locomotive, but you can get a submarine or all sorts of other things, and it's really cool, old school. It makes it right there in front of you. And that will do it for our day here at the Museum of Science and Industry in Chicago. I love this place. This is one of my favorite museums ever. Definitely my favorite science museum. It's gigantic. You could easily spend all day here. We were here for 3.5 hours, and I really don't feel like that was enough time. I think it's great. Absolutely wonderful. Great for kids, great for adults, and very repeatable too because there's so much stuff to see. Molly, what do you like? What are your favorites, least favorites?
I really like how interactive it was. There was a lot of interactive
Elements.
different.
Yeah, it wasn't a lot of traditional science museum-y stuff.
I really liked it. I would come back.
Me too. Coal mine for me was definitely a favorite. Normally, I really love the Zephyr train. I did talk to somebody because the Zephyr train's closed today. They are in the process of switching it over from a tour-guided experience to a self-guided experience. So that's not operating today, but I like that a lot. It's got sort of some animatronics and stuff in there, and you guys know I'm a big theming dork. Coal mine for me is my personal favorite. It does take that very, very immersive experience. You've got the adorable stuff with the baby chicks, that incredible Rube Goldberg machine, and just the submarine. There's so much stuff to do, and also a lot of stuff to come back and do. If you want to go and see a different IMAX movie, if you want to go back and do the submarine tour. I will say my one complaint about the museum, I would say it's got too many upcharges. It does kind of feel like you're being nickel and dimed, where you either need a ticket to get into some things that's free, or you need to pay an upcharge to go. So that's my one complaint here. So if you come and you see the tickets are 18 bucks, be prepared to spend a lot more than that with all the different upcharge stuff. But I love this place. If you have any questions about it, reply in the comment section below, and I'll do my best to answer them. Anyway, guys, thank you, and that is the Museum of Science and Industry.